Welcome to In the Groove with Todd and Jackie, the podcast where good vibes meet great conversations and change makers take center stage.
Each week, we sit down with inspiring authors, impactful speakers, and visionary leaders who are making a difference in the world.
We're bringing you powerful insights, engaging stories, and actionable ideas to amplify your voice and spark meaningful change.
So get ready to get in the groove as we dive into conversations that uplift, inspire, and empower.
Now, here's Todd and Jackie.
Hey, it's another groovy day, and that's because we make it that way. Welcome to In the Groove with Todd and Jackie. Todd.
And I'm Jackie, and this is a podcast where good vibes meet great conversations and change makers take center stage.
That's right. We're talking to people who want to expand their mission, their message, and maybe even monetize their business with their message.
Whoa, and besides this podcast, we get in the groove through our TEDx. Well, it's actually called Take the TEDx Stage Coaching, where we work with young people and we work with adults who feel, I've got this challenge I've overcome. I figured out a solution for myself, and I would love to share what I did with other people. That's generally what a TEDx talk is, but it takes a lot of preparation and it takes a pretty stringent application process. And then once you're chosen, it takes a lot of practice and preparation time because the speech is memorized to be able to be ready to get on that stage. So we help you through the entire process. We've worked with kids as young as 9. And so there's nothing more powerful or more joyful for us to see these kids stand on a TEDx stage and share something really significant with their life. And I mean, first of all, when they can identify something significant to their life, that is huge for them. And it builds so much self-confidence and self-worth. So how do they find out about our Take the TEDx Stage coaching?
Well, you can go, it's pretty simple. You can go to toddandjackie.com, click on the Impact and Outreach tab, and there you'll find a whole list of different programs we're involved with. And the Take the TEDx Stage is right there. Click on it, and you can connect with Jackie to find out more.
Awesome. All righty. Well, bringing good vibes today so we can have a great conversation is changemaker Kami Wanous. Kami Wanous is a former high school English teacher. She's the creator of Rising Leaders Roadmap. She's the go-to homeschool mentor, and she's CEO of The Freedom Scholar. And you can find her at thefreedomscholar.com. Kami, it's so great to have you on In the Groove.
I'm so juiced to be here. Awesome.
So we've got this amazing platform. All these people are tuned in. So entice us a little bit with what it is we're going to come away with after listening to us today. I guess that sounded okay.
Listening to all of us, right?
That's right.
That's it. Right. Well, here's the thing is that I'm all about lifelong learning and becoming a lifelong learner and raising lifelong learners. And no matter what industry you're in, no matter what your mission is, no matter what path you're on, being a lifelong learner is very important to your success and your ability to impact other people.
Interesting. So it's not just about finding yourself, getting in your zen or whatever. It's actually having this love of learning and this desire to continue to learn every day, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, because when you are constantly looking around and learning happens everywhere all the time is the culture of a lifelong learner. And so when we have that perspective, we're constantly looking at where can I learn something? Oh, I can learn something over here in my vacation. I can learn something from this person. I can learn oh, that video I just learned something from. Everywhere is a learning opportunity. And therefore, we're constantly open-minded. We're constantly thinking about what can I do to just take a little bit, a little piece from somewhere else and get a little better.
Nice. Well, what I'm imagining here, because when kids are in public school system, there's a set curriculum that kind of limits their learning, right? I mean, it's like, no, in this year, we're going to be studying this, this, and this, and that's what you're going to learn. Now, there probably are kids who think outside the box and go outside of the classroom and study things that they want to learn, and those are great. But I think, Kami, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what your power here, your superpower, is that you're helping kids in homeschool situations and families that are perhaps doing the instruction in these situations to realize there is so much more to learn. And it's even while you're doing something that doesn't seem school-like is an opportunity to learn. Is that
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
I was a public high school teacher for 7 years before I had my son, and we started homeschooling. And when I was in the classroom, my husband actually still teaches. He's been teaching for almost 30 years. Is that there I was trying to inspire that love of learning, but they had spent 10 years in school where it had died about third grade. That's normally when kids lose their love of learning. And it's so difficult to just spark a little bit. I was able to do a tiny bit here and there, but it was so difficult. And my thinking was if I could just get them to love something, like it's my specific, it was like I just really wanted them to love reading, like to find something that they wanted to read, something that was like, reading's not all that bad after all. If I could get them to just find something interesting, then maybe they would read something in their life. Maybe they would read something that's impacted them or somebody else in some way. And they didn't have to read the great classics or anything like that necessarily, but maybe, just maybe it would open the door. And so homeschooling, we actually get to do that from the very beginning. We get to, and if we're pulling our kids out of school, we get to rekindle that love of learning, and we get to provide the environment, the culture that that inspires that lifelong learning. And that's the ability for us to raise leaders in the world where we are desperate for leaders. That is what I'm truly passionate about. And when you're homeschooling, you have the ability to create and craft that environment, create and craft that culture to where it supports long-term love of learning. And that inspires long-term leadership-driven
Right.
kids.
Right. I love that.
How important is it for kids to socialize? So in the public school setting, there's lots of kids, there's lots going on, lots of social stuff. In a homeschool setting, it's a lot of education, a lot of learning. Kids seem to take to it a little bit more. What about the sociable aspects of that?
Gosh, Todd, I'm so glad you asked that because it's something that all parents think about. It's something that you decided homeschool and your mom's like, what about the socialization? That's what everybody asks, right?
Yes.
They're going to get messed up for life. And first of all, let's define the word socialization. Socialization is the ability to have relationships with and communicate with people of all ages. So it's not just people in our own 2-year span or 1-year span. I always talk about that the school environment, the school social environment is completely contrived. It's an artificial environment that you never experience in the world ever again. And
Right.
so it's something that
True.
is you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids exactly the same age or very close in like basically literally fenced in and
Yes.
having forced association in a very small space. That's not normal. And
Right.
healthy relationships don't work like that. So
Right.
we have a lot of socialization that we can't discount that happens in our life. If you're homeschooling, I mean, and you're listening to this, and you're thinking about it, or you know somebody who is, you know that they're not living in a bubble. They're not locking their kids in the closet. I mean, that's just not how it works. We're going
Yeah.
to the grocery store, we're going doing
Right.
things, we're out doing activities. And in fact, homeschoolers do way more activities than regular school kids do because they have more time to do it. And
Right.
so it's really, I have no idea how public school parents like take their kids to all the activities because it's insane. But they're really involved usually with what they're doing. They're involved in their church, they're involved in 4-H, they're involved in scouts like we are. It's a lot of different things. And you have siblings. I know, that's socialization too. I know, it's weird. They fight, I get it, but guess what? That's socialization. We can't discount what's happening. And I only have one kid, so the socialization was with us and with other people outside and our extended family and people in the neighborhood. It's just a real life
Yeah.
socialization.
Right. The real Macaulay.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming that you're finding over the last couple of years that more parents are considering homeschooling their kids.
Yes.
Um, and you've mentioned that socialization or what they think is the lack thereof is one of the reasons that they don't. Are there other reasons that either people don't do homeschool with their kids, or maybe we talk about the reasons that people have decided to do homeschool with their kids?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons and it varies per each family. But I think one of the biggest things is that parents often feel like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I know enough. I don't know.
Mm,
I'm not a teacher per se. First of all,
yeah.
you're a parent, you're a teacher. You
Yeah.
started teaching them from when they were born. And you're their most important and number one teacher because know them the best. And so that's the most important thing for us to remember, first of all, is that we can totally do it. And there's help out there. This is what I love to do. And if we set it up in a way where we have support, that's something that we can gain a lot of confidence from. And if we're starting from our end goal and making sure that we're intentional about everything that we do, end goal being when they're out of our care, when they're out of high school, when they're doing their
Mm,
best life, when they're like 25, when we're working towards that and we know that everything lines up, boy, that is confidence, man. That is some
yeah.
serious confidence. And so some of the reasons why a lot of people, another reason is working. They work different times or they're working full time. And I've coached many, many families that both parents work full time and they still homeschool. It's so flexible. It's really,
Wow.
really amazing. So there's lots of ways that you can figure out how to do it. And I think one of the biggest reasons I know why I started homeschooling was because I had my kid so I could be with him, my baby boy.
Right.
Right? So I know that that is a huge reason why parents these days are really wanting to homeschool their kids. And also what they see happening in schools is not what they believe and what they want to see. And
Hmm.
I just had a parent tell me this last night. She sent them to the best school in the district and she's like, they were doing things that were not actually academic learning and things that were not what I believed in and things that I felt were unhealthy. They also, oh my gosh, the bullying right now. I mean, we've always
Mm,
had bullying, but with the phones and all the things, it's a little bit different these days. And our generation that we have that's growing up right now, Gen Z and the generation after that, they're a little bit, a little bit different. So than our generation was in Gen X. And so we have to really think about, what's best for our kid, health wise, mental health wise. And if it lines up with our family values, our family morals, our family, the way we believe kids need to be taught. And
Yeah,
if
morals.
that doesn't match, then we have options, thank goodness.
my goodness. Yeah, for sure.
It almost makes me wonder what these schools are thinking because they're just pushing parents away, right? Is
Yes.
that
Yes.
what they're intending to do, or are they just being that disrespectful of morals, principles, and values?
It's an interesting thing, and I see it a lot with my husband in his district. And we're here in California. There's a lot of closing schools happening. I mean, this is nationwide, but there's every single district is down in enrollment. We have low birth rates for probably about the last 10 years. And so
Wow.
schools have been shrinking. And then we also have, we have other opportunities for education. So because the system doesn't want to change, then
Mm-hmm.
what's happening outside when parents are like, I don't know about this, and they're forcing them out, and then they don't have the base, the customer base, because it is a business that they used
Sure.
Yeah.
to. And so they think about, well, we have to force this and force that, and we have to cut this everywhere, and they're making it worse.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
Totally. Well, I think this might be a good place to just take a little break and think about that for a minute. So stay tuned. We've got more with Kami right after this.
Ooh.
Besides podcasting, Todd and Jackie get in the groove through the Speak Feed Lead Project, a nonprofit serving many communities.
At the Speak Feed Lead Project, we empower entrepreneurs, speakers, and families to find their unique voice and message through transformative retreats.
Like our signature talk retreat, where you'll spend 5 days in Costa Rica's Pacific jungle, crafting and delivering your unique message.
Perhaps you're interested in our Family Talks retreat, where you'll strengthen family bonds and discover your signature talks together in 5 days on Costa Rica's Caribbean side.
You'll also find Jackie's VIP experience, where you'll work with her for 2 to 3 days, focusing entirely on your business and message, anywhere in the world that suits you.
To find another way to get in your groove and discover ways your message can shine brightly to more audiences, use this QR code to learn more.
Welcome back to In the Groove with Todd and Jackie. Yay, it's a pretty cool show. We've got an amazing guest with us today. Kami is here, and we spent the first half of the show talking about a little bit of homeschooling and the importance of educating our kids and making sure they're headed in a good direction. And actually, how is it that we motivate them to learn? And it's not really that hard. It's when we send them off to school, I get, Kami, right? Then they get into other things and worried about that girl across the room and some of this other stuff that distracts them.
That's a really good question, because it can actually happen in homeschooling too. I work with a lot of parents that happens that way. And yeah, when they come out of school, their love of learning is typically very low, just because there's a reason why you pulled them out, and it's usually not a good one. And they've had bad experiences. They've had negative thinking about the way that they learn. I'm not as smart. I can't do this. I'm not a very good reader, something like that. Or we've been homeschooling and we've been box checking. And this is something that I did when I first started. I don't know what was going on in my brain, but my teacher training, I guess, kicked in, my teacher brain. And even though that's not what I did when I was in the classroom, I thought, okay, first grade, here we go. We're going to really learn. And turns out I got all the curriculum, I got everything, and then we're sitting down, and I have a 6-year-old, and he's excited, and he's like, okay, we're doing it, and we're doing some little activities, and then he gets up and starts to walk away after about 15 minutes. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, wait, come back, buddy. We're not done yet. And he's like, oh, I didn't know. So he comes back and he does a little more, about 10 more minutes. And then he gets up and starts to walk away. And I was like, buddy, wait, hold on. We haven't done math. And in my mind, I'm thinking, if we don't do math, we're going to fail at life. Like, we have to do math. And so I'm like, look at this. Is the most amazing math ever. And he's like, all right, whatever. He likes to please. So he sits down, does 10 minutes more. We've done 35 minutes. He gets up and starts to walk away. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we've only done 35 minutes. What are we going to do? How's he going to be prepared for life? And so that kept happening day after day. And because I was stressed out about it, he got stressed out about it. We were arguing, we were fighting, and less and less and less learning happened. We were learning, but it wasn't something good. And Then he just stopped, and I was like, whoa, this is not what was supposed to happen. I realized what after I stopped and stepped back and I reread some things, I got some new information. I was like, I was doing exactly what I knew didn't work in school. I was box checking.
Yeah.
I was just going through the motions. I was checking off. We did math, check. We did geography, check. We did yes, check. Right? Because that made me feel like we were on a path to like he was going to be okay. Because
Yeah.
that's our greatest fear as parents is that we're going to fail our kids, right? So we have to think about the difference between real learning and authentic learning and us checking the boxes. And when I was able to get out of that and rekindle that love of learning again, then what happened was now he seeks out learning on his own.
Right.
So he's actually teaching me things like sometimes I swear I'm the dumbest person in our household. He tells me, teaching me science and teaching me geography and teaching. He's like, "Mom, seriously?" I'm like, "Where is that again?" He's like, "Let me show you." And he's teaching
Right.
me all kinds of things. So that's when we can develop real love of learning. And whether our kids are coming out of school or we've already killed their love of learning ourselves because of the pressure that we feel,
Yeah.
that's what I call the homeschool breakdown trap. It just keeps going like that, and we're all fighting. And when we rekindle that love of learning, that's when we get lifelong learners, when we can
Right.
consistently keep that high.
Well, and not all kids learn the same way,
No,
right? I mean, and
no.
so that to me is probably the biggest bonus of homeschooling is it's a one-on-one instruction that's designed for the student to learn the way they learn.
Absolutely. Everybody learns a different way. And in school you mostly have audio and visual,
Mm.
and you have a lot of, a style that fits about maybe 5% of the students that are there. Another 5% can make it happen. But the rest of them it doesn't really fit them. And so when we look at the way that our child individually needs to learn, especially with a lot
Yeah.
of neurodivergence that's out there, a lot of ADHD, a lot of all these things. They don't take that into account in school. It's very difficult because of the
Right.
environment. So
Right.
we can accommodate for that for sure.
Well, here you are, a CEO of the Freedom Scholar, and it's a completely new business model. I don't know of anybody that's really mentoring homeschool families. Maybe there are now, but you were probably on the cutting edge of that. How did you begin to create this for other families? I mean, you've had some success with your own son, homeschooling him. When was the point when you said, I could maybe help some other people do this? Was it by accident or was it on purpose?
It was by accident, actually. It was the idea that when schools were shutting down during COVID and the parents, they were talking about doing it again for another year. The parents were not liking what was happening during that
Mm-hmm.
distance online learning thing, and it wasn't effective, and they said, "Gosh, I don't know what to do. What are we going to do? Are we going to pull out? We're going to homeschool? I don't know anything about homeschooling. I'm scared." And I said to myself, I was like, well, I have experience both in the classroom and as a homeschool parent. So I can give them an opportunity to just see, just here are the options, right? And so I decided that I was going to put on a webinar, just informational, just here's what it's like in California, how you can homeschool, what's public school, all these things, right?
Right.
And it turned into, actually, as I was developing that, it turned into, hey, I could actually help people with this all the time. This would be amazing because my experience in almost killing my son's love of learning, I didn't want them to do that. I knew that that was something that our parents were going to go to. That was going to be the natural tendency because that's what we do in school. And
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be the natural tendency of what everybody does. And I didn't want them to turn around and go, wait a minute, this homeschooling thing, it's not working because we're box checking, and they don't
Right.
know that they're box checking, but they think that they're doing all the right things. And so for me, I was like, I gotta help. I got to make sure that we are raising kids with inspired, passionate, independent, critical thinking, and they can become leaders in the world because that's what I'm really, really passionate about, raising leaders.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's really cool.
Oh my goodness, we're just about out of time, and it's been a joy having you on the show. How do people find you, Kami?
And what does it look like to work with you?
Yeah.
That's a great question. So I work with parents one-on-one. I also have the Inspiring Lifelong Learning Academy, which is a community, and it's a way that we can support each other. And it's also I take you step by step through the Raising Leaders Roadmap, which wherever you're starting out from, whether it be low level of learning, coming out of school, just starting, have a kindergartner, you're going to be able to intentionally create that culture that inspires lifelong learning for the long term. Keep it that way. So I work with parents on lots of different levels, but the best way that you can contact me is either through the Inspiring Lifelong Learners Masterclass coming up this April, or you can contact me directly through the website, thefreedomscholar.com, or on socials. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and you can just send me a DM and I'll totally get back to you.
Nice. Okay. So here's a question that we ask most of our guests is, how do you get in the groove every day?
I love
What
that
does it look
question.
like for you, and how do you get into it?
I literally was just talking about this in my newsletter yesterday. So, the way that I've been getting in the groove lately, and this is really something that's made a big difference for both my son and I, my son is 17 right now, is that I listen to inspiring growth podcasts from great people every morning, like Todd and Jackie. And I listen every morning while I'm getting ready for the day. It just gets me in my mindset, gets me thinking about things that I could be doing, things that, oh, I love this. Oh, this is inspiring. Oh, this is something that I need to look more into. It's that lifelong learning. And then my son and I actually get together for 10 minutes every morning and we plan out our day. We have planners and we both plan our separate day, but we talk about it. And it's really helped both of us to get on the same page and to focus, because 17 years old, he's sometimes the focus is a little, there, sometimes it's not, but we both notice actually the difference when we don't do it.
Wow. I can remember when I was 17, I wanted absolutely nothing to do with my mother.
Especially if she was helping you plan your day, right?
Right. That was just not on my radar, but that's really cool.
Yeah,
You've
the
come a long
mentoring
way.
relationship we can create with homeschooling and with
Totally.
with the Raising Leaders Roadmap and the way it's designed is to really create close family relationships and become mentors to our kids.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So what is your son aspiring to for his future? I mean,
Oh my
I
gosh,
know we're
he has
almost
so
out of
many
time, but I
plans.
got to ask this question. What's he aspiring to do?
He has so many plans. He definitely wants to make sure that he's right now very, very committed to making sure that we can not be taken over by AI, but he's very about the benefits that AI can have. So we wanting to make sure to have that balance, and he wants to educate people about that. He's writing a book right now actually about that. So
Wow. Sounds like a TEDx speaker we just had.
he really is
One-
he's gonna have to work with you for sure.
Yeah.
We just had a student on the stage deliver a TEDx speech about that very same thing. His
Oh,
take
wow.
on is amazing.
Yeah. His name is Ahan Singh, and you can find his TEDx talk. It's out there now. I can't remember the exact title of it at this minute, but yeah, he talks about AI and outsourcing our minds. It was a really good talk, and he's just, I think he's 15, so a little bit younger than your son.
Talk about creating leaders. We watch these kids stand on stage and speak passionately from their heart, and you think, that's going to be the next president of the United States.
Yeah, you guys do an amazing job
Yeah,
developing
pretty
those
cool.
leaders.
Thanks. All right. Well, thank you, Kami, for all you do, for the support you give, not only to young people, but to their families so that they can give better support to their young people. So thank you for all of that.
That's about all we have time for. I hope you enjoyed the show. My biggest hope is you'll tell a friend about the show. And lastly, please, please, please make it a great day, because it's all about choice. And choose to look up Kami and continue your perpetual education some way, somehow.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye for
Thank
now.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
That's a wrap for this episode of In the Groove with Todd and Jackie, where good vibes meet great conversations and changemakers take center stage.
We hope you've been inspired by today's guest and are ready to bring more positivity, connection, and impact into your world.
If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs a little groove in their life.
And don't forget to check us out on toddandjackie.com for more great conversations.
Until next time, keep shining, keep grooving, and keep making a difference.